have to fear is
In war,
fear itself.
there is no substitute for victory.
Let us never negotiate out of fear.
We stand undivided, forever united, fighting hand in hand for the liberty we've earned, for glory and honor, for our sons and daughters, ever mindful of the lessons we've learned. Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome to the intersection of faith and politics. This is WallBuilders Live. Thanks for joining us today. You can visit online at wallbuilders.com and also wallbuilderslive.com. We've got all our stations listed there and also some archives that have our programs from the last few months, so you can go catch up on some Good News Friday. If you need a pick-me-up or you want to learn a little bit more about the Constitution, you can get us on all those Thursday programs. So, David, we've had a lot of good documentaries and movies and things come out over the last couple of years as interest in history has really increased. I think we've seen that with our Thursday programs about the Constitution and history. But there's also been some big projects. Kirk Cameron did a great project, Monumental, that an awful lot of people saw and for the first time got interested in that history.
Yeah, Monumental was really good because the whole movie was over a monument. The Pilgrim Monument specifically, or what they call the National Monument to the Forefathers. But it was a matter of Kirk learned about that movie, and it was a vicarious experience because literally, as he was taping that film, he did not know about that monument. He did not go in there and act surprised. He did not go in there and say, well, I already know about this, but since it's on camera, I got to act surprised. He was literally learning for the first time as you saw him on camera. And so that was a vicarious experience for a lot of Americans who are saying, wow, that's really cool. I mean, that is a massive monument there. It's considered the largest granite monument in the United States. It's the third largest statue in the United States. And it's faith is the center element of that. I mean, it's 61 feet high, and faith is the center of the statue, and it's surrounded and being upheld by four pillars, which uphold faith, and that's morality, law, education, liberty, but faith is centered to all of that. And so as you learned about the monument, and you learned about what elements added which part, and the legislature of Massachusetts added this, and you had the educators who added this, and you find out where all these pillars came from, and what it was that caused this monument that was monumental to really be the basis of what was reflected in America. One of the guys you got to meet was a guy named Paul Jehle. And Paul Jehle literally is he's the historian for Plymouth, Massachusetts, where this monument is. I mean, he's an official historian there. He's a tour guide for the city, but he's also a pastor of a church. He is the guy who probably knows more about the Pilgrims than anybody in this generation. And he's a pastor of a church, and they still run their church exactly the way the Pilgrims ran their church. I've spoken to their church. It's really cool, quite frankly. It's unlike what we're used to with churches and church government today, but it's done just the way the Pilgrims did it. And so Paul Jehle, this great historian, and by the way, one of the things that Paul also does there at Plymouth, Massachusetts, and I don't think folks are aware of this, if you say a Thanksgiving Day parade, you instantly think, well, Macy's, that's on TV every year, and you see all the floats, and people enjoy that, and it's the start of the Christmas season after Thanksgiving, etc. But the second largest parade in America behind Macy's is the one that Paul and these guys do at Plymouth, Massachusetts. Over 100,000 people come to that tiny little town for their parade there in Massachusetts. They call it a hometown parade, and they parade through history. They start way back at the very beginning of the 1600s, and as the floats go by, it goes year by year, instant after instant, showing the history, 400 years of history there. So it really is fun stuff that they've got. And now they've got, with all the expertise they have in history, they've got some really cool stuff set up this summer that really gives some great opportunities for families to take their kids, or even if you don't have kids, just go yourself and get to be a part of what they're doing with some living history stuff there in Plymouth, Massachusetts for the summer.
It's a phenomenal opportunity, folks. You want to listen when we come back from the break. You don't want to miss this. What a great, if you're going to plan a vacation anyway this summer, this would be the perfect vacation for you to actually get some living history. It'd be one of those vacations with a purpose. Stay with us. Dr. Paul Jehle, our special guest today here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. In the minds of many today, government is a purely secular institution and is not in any way to be joined to religious principles. The result is that too often our public policies are now enacted without any consideration of their spiritual consequences. However, the Founding Fathers believed that even a political act should always be examined from a spiritual viewpoint. For example, in his inaugural address, President George Washington declared, "We ought to be persuaded that the favorable smiles of heaven can never be expected on a nation that disregards the eternal rules of order and right which heaven itself has ordained." President George Washington believed that the blessings of heaven would reside on this nation only so long as its national policies embraced godly standards.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back to the intersection of faith and politics. WallBuilders Live. Thanks for staying with us today. Our guest, our good friend, Dr. Paul Jehle from the Plymouth Rock Foundation. How are you, sir?
Doing very well. How are you?
Hey, man, I'm great. Thrilled to have you on. Before we even get into the big events you guys are having this summer, I just want to encourage people to visit your website and get you out to speak. I'm telling you, man, you were a huge hit last year. We were thrilled to have you at Patriot Academy, and just great information. And groups are blessed to have you throughout the year all over the country, and we want to get them there. So tell us how to book you.
Well, you can go right to the website there and simply email through information@plymrock.org and whatnot, and we'll do the best we can. A lot of things are going on. These kinds of community events keep me grounded.
I was thinking about that. I was wondering how much you're even able to get out, across the country like you normally do, and I think sometimes what folks don't realize, it's hard to take the topics of history and law and some of those things that some people think are boring and actually make them exciting, and you do that so well. You make it interesting and you apply it today, and that's why I'm pushing you. I know you're not on the program today to do that, but I just wanted people to be aware of that and to hit the website and at least try to get you in if they can grab one of your dates that hopefully is available in the next couple of years. But let's get to the summer.
Sure.
Lots of cool stuff coming up that you guys are doing locally there that hopefully people can travel to you to enjoy.
Yes, and I'm on the Plymouth 400 committee here in town, and we are planning things for 2020. But one of the things we would like to do in our various responsibilities is to have some events that precede 2020. And this summer we're doing that to get interest in the Pilgrim story and the facts and faith of the Pilgrims. And we're looking at a 125th anniversary of the National Monument of the Forefathers and its theme of faith, and we want to kind of bring that alive. So we're going to be showing the movie Monumental on Thursday night. We have Marshall Foster in speaking on that. We're also going to have a drama group that's going to reenact the Second Virginia Assembly and Patrick Henry's Give Me Liberty, Give Me Death speech. That's going to be worth it all by itself. And then Friday we're having seminars.
No, wait. I got to ask you before you go any further.
Sure.
Okay, I just got to know. Are you going to play Patrick Henry? Because that would be cool.
No, I'm not playing Patrick Henry, but I'm telling you, the guy that does it is wonderful.
All right.
Phenomenal. So, no, I've got to oversee this thing. I'll be in pilgrim costume most of the weekend, and speaking here and there. But we've got a lot of other folks coming in, and seminars on Friday, and historic tours of downtown Plymouth. We've got some folks that you guys know. We've got Bill Federer coming in, John Eismo, and others that are going to come in here and help us out. But
I know how it is. I can't imagine you getting bogged down with having to do all the administrative stuff and not getting a chance to get in there and share. So tell me you're going to get to do some of that.
There's no question I'll be around, I'll be in costume. And,
okay.
And the nice thing is we have a good addition this year where Friday and Saturday night in the largest hall in Plymouth, we've got the Academy of Arts from South Carolina coming up, and I've known Nicky Shavers for years, and he has produced years ago a dramatic play on the Pilgrim story and their whole history in England and interaction with the king. And I'm telling you, this is fabulous. This is going to really be very interesting for people to come and see. And, of course, we've got all kinds of people from the town. We're joining with the town of Plymouth on Saturday for a grand celebration of the monument. It's going to be patriotic. We're going to feature the bicentennial of the national anthem, as well as the 50th anniversary of the civil rights movement. And so we're going to be it's going to be pretty amazing that Saturday. We're combining together. We're going to have characters, Wampanoag, Pilgrim, patriots, Civil War reenactors, roaming the grounds, and it's just going to be a tremendous weekend. You're going to get immersed in history for 2.5 days.
All right, let's talk about the dates again. This is July 31st.
To August the 2nd.
Okay, and if you're traveling in for this, would you want to come in on Wednesday? Does it start late on Thursday? Or?
No, it starts Thursday night, 7 o'clock. So you could travel in on Thursday, fly into Logan Airport, and if they go on the website there, they click on Celebrate Faith, the big banner, all the information and all the package deals for families and whatnot are there. Great rates, I'm telling you. But we just need people. That's all.
There you go. Okay, so now if they make it in for the first night, then it starts that evening. And this is for people that may not be familiar and never actually been there, but did have a chance maybe to see Monumental, the monument that you guys are going to be keying in on with this 125th anniversary. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, and Monumental was a movie produced by Kirk Cameron, and what he did was to feature the Pilgrim story as an unknown event of American history, and the lessons we can learn from their character, what they endured in their persecution, and what they came to leave as a legacy. And it features the monument here in Plymouth, the largest solid granite monument, dedicated in 1889. So it's 125 years old, and I think that alone, of course, that night we're also going to have that Patrick Henry reenactment as well. So, if people haven't seen it, here's a good time to do it, and we'll be in the largest hall in Plymouth. But they can fly in Thursday, fly out Sunday. We're going to have a special patriotic service at our church as well if people want to take in that before they fly out. But tremendous time. What a good vacation to get yourself immersed and in some reenactments and historic tours along the waterfront and the monuments, and we've got great family rates.
All right, so tell us, and by the way, being a big baseball fan myself, if I'm going to come to Boston, I got to catch a game at Fenway Park, and guess what, folks? They're in town the night before. So you could fly in on Wednesday, catch a game at Fenway, and then go over and do a weekend. Look,
now you're talking.
I'm telling you.
Good. That's good from someone from Texas.
You planned this for me, didn't you, Dr. Jehle? You knew I'd have to catch a Red Sox game. Okay, so if they come for the whole weekend, do they get like a one-time pass, or do you do?
Yeah, they can get a one-time pass for everything. It's right online, and also in a great family rate. So if you've got a lot of kids, bring them all, and they can just click on that Celebrate Faith and get all the information right on there. And I'll tell you that. Individuals are doing that. They're getting the family pass. It's the best way to go, and it'll really help you out.
I want to, Dr. Jehle, when we come back from the break, I want to talk about the importance of bringing history to life for our kids and how actually being there, like what you're doing, and taking them around and showing them these original places, how important that is to really make it stick with the next generation, and how that's such a better opportunity to teach those lessons about who we are and what we're all about than just reading it out of a book. Dr. Paul Jehle is our guest. Stay with us. We're going to talk more about this very special event that's going to be taking place July 31st through August 2nd. It's the 125th anniversary of the National Monument to the Forefathers that's there in Plymouth. Stay with us here on WallBuilders Live.
This is David Barton with another moment from America's history. Joseph Story is one of the most important names in American jurisprudence. Not only was he placed on the U.S. Supreme Court by President James Madison, but he also founded Harvard Law School and authored numerous legal works on the Constitution. While today's revisionists claim that the goal of the First Amendment was absolute religious pluralism, Justice Joseph Story vehemently disagreed. He declared, "The real object of the First Amendment was not to encourage, much less to advance, Mohammedanism or Judaism or infidelity by prostrating Christianity, but was to exclude all rivalry among Christian denominations." According to founder Joseph Story, Christianity, not pluralism, was the goal of the Founding Fathers in the First Amendment, for only a Christian nation is tolerant and thus is truly pluralistic.
For more information on God's hand in American history, contact WallBuilders at 1-800-8-REBUILD.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Dr. Paul Jehle with us today. We're talking about the special event he's got coming up on the 125th anniversary of the National Monument to the Forefathers, and it's right there in Plymouth. He's going to be the one taking it around. Well, actually, a host of great speakers and educators that are going to be there as a part of the events throughout the weekend. But Dr. Jehle, tell me a little bit about why it's important to actually go to the locations. If somebody's in California or they're here in Texas like I am, why make the trek out there to see history firsthand?
Well, one of the things that happens when you're a tour guide like I am, trying to bring history to life in the very place it was, it just adds a three-dimensional meaning to it. When you read it out of a book, when you read the story, those are great. Parents telling their children, reading those stories. But I'm telling you, when you can walk exactly where they walked, when you can begin to visualize what it was like to come in the winter and to land on those shores. Sure, Plymouth Rock looks great. It's under a little canopy now, and a lot of visitors come. But to imagine where the coastline was and to imagine what it was like to arrive there, what it was like and actually to stand in the very spot where the peace treaty was signed with Massasoit and Governor Carver and those kinds of things, just brings it three-dimensionally to life. I've watched this over the years as children's eyes come alive. And also, you know, with our school here and what we do, we have some young children as tour guides. We've got young teenagers that are doing this. They're going to be speaking in Old English. They're going to be bringing characters to life. So it's going to be young people telling stories to young people also. And so I think this is what really inspires people. They say, wow, this actually happened here, and history just comes alive. Then you walk away with a lesson embedded in your heart.
I love it. I love it. Nothing better. You know, we're blessed to get to travel the nation with our kids, and I'm telling you, there's just nothing like standing in the spot where it happened and being able to hear that story, especially having experts like yourself and some of these other folks that you're bringing in. It just makes it real, man. And it's not just to learn history. It's to learn history and apply the lessons of history to today, right?
That's right. You know, when you realize that some of these children, like a 10-year-old, Joseph Rogers, he comes with his father, Thomas Rogers, and his father dies the first winter. Joseph's 10 years old. He gets taken in by William Bradford and raised as an orphan because Bradford was an orphan. You begin to think of this. You start, wow, this guy's 10 years old. He becomes a founder of one of the towns on Cape Cod, and these stories come alive. These are teenagers. This is real life, and getting along with another culture that you don't understand, they don't understand you. How do you build peace? How do you do that in a way that respects, even though you differ? Man, those lessons are absolutely crucial today.
I often encourage families to schedule their vacations so that they're vacations with a purpose. I can't imagine a better one for this summer than for them to travel out to Plymouth and be with you that weekend. It's July 31st to August 2nd. The website is plymrock.org. We'll have a link today, make it real easy for you there. At wallbuilderslive.com. You can just click right over. It's got all the information, the schedule for the whole weekend. I mean, they even got a Pilgrim Progress reenactment. It's just going to be cool. You're going to get to go see some amazing historical locations, the Mayflower, too. I mean, all kinds of cool stuff. Dr. Jehle, how quick do folks need to plan? I mean, we're only a couple of months out, right?
Yeah, we're 2.5 months away, and it's best to plan ahead. And, of course, it's better for us and better for everyone who's coming. But I'll tell you, it is going to be amazing. You're going to be able to see the Pilgrim Progress, as you mentioned, which is a reenactment of the Pilgrims going to church from an eyewitness in 1627. You're going to be able to explore the town and then stay a few days afterwards or come a couple days before, like you're saying, taking a ball game, whatever, and be able to make that vacation with a purpose. I really would emphasize that because they'll tell you, your children will be blessed because they'll hand it on to their children and grandchildren. And what we need desperately in this country is to build a multi-generational legacy of people who understand the lessons from the past. They don't have to go back and live in the past, but they can take those lessons now. And the challenges we face aren't a whole lot different.
And that I mean, to be, like you said, on that Pilgrim Progress reenactment, you're walking in the footsteps of those guys. You're going where they were.
That's right. That's right. And you'll sing the original Pilgrim Psalms, and we'll be sprinkling that in the whole time. You'll get immersed in the Pilgrim history. So come on out and enjoy a vacation with purpose.
Easy to check it out online, folks. plymrock.org. So plymrock.org. Click on the link there. You can get all the details and find out more and get signed up quick. Dr. Paul Jehle, God bless you, brother. We sure appreciate you. Love what you do, and thrilled to share this, and hope a lot of folks get to come and experience that with you this summer.
Well, great. You have a great time in Texas, and from around the country, come on out to Plymouth and enjoy the Pilgrims.
That's Dr. Paul Jehle. Back in a moment with David Barton.
Hey,
this is Tim Barton with WallBuilders. And as you've had the opportunity to listen to WallBuilders Live, you've probably heard the wealth of information about our nation, about our spiritual heritage, about the religious liberties, about all the things that makes America exceptional. And you might be thinking, as incredible as this information is, I wish there was a way that I could get one of the WallBuilders guys to come to my area and share with my group, whether it be a church, whether it be a Christian school or public school or some political event or activity. If you're interested in having a WallBuilder speaker come to your area, you can get on our website at www.wallbuilders.com, and there's a tab for scheduling. And if you'll click on that tab, you'll notice there's a list of information from speakers' bios to events that are already going on, and there's a section where you can request an event to bring this information about who we are, where we came from, our religious liberties and freedoms. Go to the WallBuilders website and bring a speaker to your area.
Let the torch of freedom burn.
Welcome back. Thanks for staying with us here on WallBuilders Live. Special thanks to Dr. Paul Jehle, and also encourage you to check it out and go see him in person. Actually get a chance to be a part of that those activities that are going to take place this summer. David, I wasn't stretching it, man. He really did a fantastic job when he came in and spoke at Patriot Academy. He does just a phenomenal way of taking that history and making it exciting, makes you want to learn. It's good stuff.
Well, he knows a lot about history, and part of what he said, he just blew by some stuff that I think we ought to take a minute on. So I'm going to pick on you for a minute, Rick, but I don't think you'll have any trouble with this. I'm going to give you a little quiz. I think you can easily answer this, but if I give you certain years, I want you to associate an event with each of those years. So
wait a minute, let me see if I can get Google pulled up here.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
You won't have trouble. 1765. What goes on?
1765. Let's see. That's going to be 11 years before the Declaration. That's going to be the Stamp Act.
That's Stamp Act. All right, 1774. What goes on?
1774. That's going to be the First Continental Congress.
There you go. 1776.
The Declaration of Independence.
1783.
The end of the war.
That's right. Peace Treaty. 1787.
That's the Constitutional Convention.
1789.
Wait a minute. I just want to savor the moment here. I've never, ever gotten more than one answer right whenever you gave me a test live on television or live on radio.
You're on a roll.
So you're
1789.
That's the other. You're having mercy, aren't you? This is your way of having mercy on me after years of picking on me and asking me questions.
I'm letting you look good here, bro. I'm giving you stuff that's in your wheelhouse.
I'm feeling good. Okay, 1789. That's going to be let's see, the first Congress, or when it's ratified.
Well, first Congress, the first federal Congress, yeah.
First federal Congress. So Constitution's ratified, and then the first Congress meets.
That's right. Both of them, 1788, Constitution's ratified, 1789, Congress comes together. So first Congress. 1791.
No idea.
Oh, Bill of Rights, bro.
Oh, the Bill of Rights. Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, I should have known that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And then 1796.
1796. Let's see. That would be, I don't know, John Adams becomes president.
1797. 1796, Washington's farewell address.
Farewell address, okay.
You know that address. You see, but look how many you got right. You got that right.
That's the best I've ever done. I got an 80%. I passed.
You did great, bro.
I'm just happy to pass.
Now, see, having said that, if I started throwing out other dates, if I threw out 1607, what would you say?
Not a clue.
First permanent English settlement in America, Jamestown. If I throw out 1620, what do you say?
Pilgrims.
Pilgrims, what part?
Let's see. They land in 1619 or 1620?
They land in 1620, December 1620.
1620, okay.
So when Paul just threw out there, he said, well, we're planning for 2020. What does that mean?
So that's the 400.
That's right.
400 years, 400-year anniversary of them actually landing.
That's right. And so that is a big deal, and I guarantee you that will be a big event, 400 years. But, you know, you said something in the interview that I just really kind of picked up on in my imagination. And you said, you know, there's nothing like being able to stand the spot and see where it happened.
Yeah.
And I remember what you told me when you got to tape Constitution Live at Independence Hall. You know, you got to be in there, and you sat in the seat where George Washington sat to preside or did you not? You didn't sit there, did you?
Are you kidding? They wouldn't have let me sit in the chair. Now, I wanted to sit in the chair, but I got to point to the chair.
I got to sit in the chair. They didn't let you sit in that chair?
Oh, you got favored. Okay, that's it. I'm going back and sitting in the chair.
Oh, yeah, I got to sit in the chair. And just sitting in that chair was, I mean, But I was thinking of that, and you've been to Christ Church in Philadelphia, and you walk in, and there's the pew where George Washington went to church every Sunday.
Nothing like it, man.
And right across the way, there's the one marked where Ben Franklin went to church at Christ Church. And over here's the one where that Francis Hopkinson and Benjamin Rush signed the Declaration, and they have them marked. And you just go, wow. And Appomattox Courthouse. I don't know if you've been in Appomattox Courthouse, but there where that Ulysses S. Grant and Robert E. Lee both sat at that table. Each on one side of the table, and they brought the Civil War to an end. And, you go to Arlington National Cemetery, and I'll walk through that, and I just, man, it just gives me chills walking through there, seeing what was there. And
there's no comparison.
There's no comparison, bro.
And you mentioned the pews at Christ Church. In 30 seconds, if you go in there and in 30 seconds you see those pews with those names,
yeah,
it totally negates and washes away all the lies about these guys hated religion and hated God and all that. It's the real thing. Demolishes the deception just immediately. That's why this Pilgrim thing would be so cool.
And not only that, I love what he said too, is you're going to have young people speaking to young people. Young people speaking Old English, but he's got these kids trained. I mean, that's what they do. They bring these kids up from their very beginning, knowing American history and heritage.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, having those live people, those live reenactors that are dressed and act that way, that live in the moment, it is really cool stuff. And you're right. There's nothing like being there and being in the spot, seeing the actual Plymouth Rock itself, which they have under a covering. It is so cool. And this is a summer trip worth taking.
Guys, the website, you got to, even if you think there's no way you can get off and go spend the week and have a chance to go, at least go check out the website and see some of the pictures and begin to learn that history and get familiar with Dr. Paul Jehle. It's at plymrock.org, plymrock.org. We'll have a link today at wallbuilderslive.com. You've been listening to WallBuilders Live.
We stand undivided.